Hello, this is just finished. Sorry, I've just finished making this full-size telescopic pot. So I just thought I'd, which I'm going to try, but I just thought I'd show it you first, size-wise. So I'll just get my little tape measure out. That's a rough size of each section. I'll do a full measure afterwards, about 4 inches, you'd say. So the first pot, which you plant your baby tomato in, whatever form you want. Let me just measure the diameter. It's about 12 inches. 12 inches across, roughly. And this, like I said before, I can just get it flat for you. 4 inches, give or take, just over. And so this is how it works. Normally you'd leave them like this and lift them one up at a time, and this isn't going to be easy with one hand. We'll do it the proper way anyway. So this is made out, this is 3D printed, but obviously if I wanted to make one, it'd have to be moulded if I manage to get one made properly, and I can't afford to do that. So I've just made this one and 3D printed it, but you'll get the idea. And you've got the size of the first one. I know it's about a foot across, 4 inches high, so that'd be plenty of room for your plug plant seed to grow in there. You could take this anywhere you wanted, indoors, March time, or whatever you wanted to start to grow. Fill it full of your medium, and start growing your tomato. And then once it gets obviously so tall, which will be 4 inches higher than that, and however high you wanted for it to go, this I say, because there's plenty of room for the main roots to grow. We're going to lift the next section up, which I'll do now. If you can see there, all you do, you line these up, line them up, lift, which I'll have to put the phone down. You'll have to excuse me a second just while I lift it up. If you hear the click there. And then once it's lifted up to its full height, you can, I'll just use 2 hands again just to turn it. There we go. And these lock into position. There we go. And so the next pot will be this side. Will be roughly, probably the worst video ever, but you'll have to excuse me. Will be another 3 inches higher because of the overlap there. There's a gap down there, and then some people will be thinking, what about if you water it? Well, it's good if you can get water to come out of there and air to come in. It's a plus to me, not a negative. And so I'll leave it at that. So your tomato plant has been going quite high. It's up here. You've removed the branches and you're covering the main stem up, and so it's now from the bottom to the top. You've got over 7 inches in height. And the diameter of this one for your plant is about 13 inches. So quite a big pot there. And so you let your tomato grow again. It gets higher and higher and higher. It's got a good base root there, and your secondary roots will have already started to grow in there. It's got plenty of room to grow for your roots, and you've got all the light coming down on your plant, where normally if you plant it deep in a bucket or a bag or wherever you want to plant it and it's deep down, you've got to wait till it starts showing its head up a little bit. The sun can't really get in the bag or in the bottom of a bucket, so this helps that way as well. But yeah, so you've got a tomato plant well on its way there. I'll put that down. You've got your soil topped up, your tomatoes growing, you've got your main roots growing in the bottom there, and you've got your secondary roots, plenty of room to grow there. Which helps. I mean, I know you can just put it in a big pot, but then you've got just your main roots growing. You don't get as many secondary roots growing. This way, you've planted your plug plant in there. You never have to, or your seed in there, you'll never have to take it out. What we're doing is we're increasing the area as it grows for the roots and the secondary roots to grow. And when it's fully up, your tomato plant will end up like a tree trunk. But anyway, I'm going to lift the next section up. This is where I need 2 hands just to lift it up. Just a second. There we go. Just going to turn it now to lock it. There we go. Much easier with the. Much easier to take a video if somebody was holding it. Try to get my 10-year-old to do it, but he wouldn't. But anyway, there we go. And there's the next pot. So I'll measure the full height and diameter of this one for you. I've got 14 inches across, and the depth is now that was me for a second. I do apologise. It doesn't. You aren't eating it when you're looking at that. 10 inches high. So a lovely big pot there. Your tomatoes probably been growing for a few weeks now. And so you'll be topping this up with compost around the stem, what's coming up here, removing any branches. And so you can imagine how deep your roots have been growing and how well established it'll be. Yes, your tomato may only be a foot high or something like that, but you'll see the thickness of it and the health of it. And now you can be looking to take it outside and you can put it in the greenhouse. I mean, even if it was May time and it's going to get cold days still, it wouldn't affect it because in my opinion, it wouldn't affect it because the amount of roots you've got in there and how well established it is. Whereas normally if you just got it coming out the top there, it hasn't got really well established in there, a bit of cold, could even kill it off, certainly make it unhappy. But anyway, so I'm going to lift the final section up. Trying to do it with one hand. Can't do it with one hand. There we go. Pretty straightforward. If you want to look at that for a laugh, I put Sutton's telly pot on there because I'm a Sutton. Laura Sutton's still on this website to see, but anyway, just for a bit of fun. It's not a commercial thing or anything, that's just for me. There's only one pot and it's just for me. Not selling it, never will do. It's just for me. But anyway, let me just get the final measurements for you. Tell me if I'm not, but I hope at least one of you doesn't even get too bored. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. Most of you probably turned off by now, but yeah, so it is 13 inches high, I would say, and across the top would be 15.5 inches. So one big pot. So if you can imagine, this is in its final position now. It's been growing for quite a few weeks. Your tomato plant, it's just gone outside. It's maybe a couple of foot high, but be like a tree trunk, well established, plenty of room for roots to grow still, loads of room for your secondary roots which have already started to come, and your plant will only get healthier, and you'll find out your tomatoes will be a massive big bunches here, starting here. So if it's in the greenhouse, even better. Your tomatoes will start lower down, so you'll actually get more trusses in the greenhouse, where normally you have to wait for it to start here. It grows up and then maybe 1.5 foot, 2 foot, is it, something like that, just guessing. Your tomatoes will roughly start coming. They'll start lower down and they'll start in big bunches. And normally I used to get rid of, cut the first just the tomatoes off, but now I don't. I'll leave them, and I've got some. You'll get a huge yield of tomatoes. Anyway, that's just my opinion and my little invention. I just wanted to show you the full size pot and the size of it, what it is, and what I've made. It's pretty easy to put together, pretty easy to take down. I bet I could even put a potato in here, and if that was a potato in the bottom, keep building it up the same as the tomato, and then when it was fully grown, I mean, I could just turn one section at a time, take it down, take your potatoes out what you've already grown, and then that's what you want to eat, and do the same again. I suppose, if you get where I'm coming from. Okay, that's the end of the video. Try not to criticise me too much, but that's the final pot anyway, the final size. I'm quite happy with it, and it's something I'm going to try and grow something. You see me smaller pots, which I'm going to use, a smaller pot which I'm going to do the hydroponics in. This will be a normal tomato. I'll be growing in this with normal compost, with a bit of bone and blood mixed in. Yeah, and then we'll see how we go. I'm pretty sure it'll grow pretty quick and grow better, and keep growing and getting better throughout the season because you planted it really so deeply. And gradually your secondary roots have been coming, and it seems to work. So see what you think. Okay, thank you. Bye.